Hey everybody, in this video I want to do a review of the DC Multiverse Flash action figure. So I pre-ordered this one quite a while ago on Target, and after a couple delays, he did finally arrive in the mail. So this is part of the collect to build Cyborg figure. It is going to be the Cyborg from the Flashpoint comic book story. Now, Flashpoint itself was, I think, a really, really great story. The main issue for me is that Flashpoint led into the New 52, which I was not a fan of. But this version of Barry Allen is about as classic of a Flash as we've ever gotten from McFarlane Toys. So the other thing that's pretty cool about this, besides the fact that we do get collect to build pieces, is that we get alternate head sculpts, which is almost unheard of in this toy line. So just really quick here, looking at him up close in the packaging, he's in a running pose and he's got his maskless head sculpt on him. You can see that we've got the gold label because it's a Target exclusive. And then we have the mask version in there. And then, of course, the big giant legs for the Cyborg figure. I'm probably not going to build the Cyborg figure. I haven't gotten any of the other ones. I did not get the Flashpoint Aquaman or the Project Superman. Just not figures I really need in my collection. So I'll probably just, sell these legs off or whatever. So the side, it does say the Flash from Flashpoint, but of course this is just a kind of regular old normal Barry Allen Flash figure. So here is the Cyborg figure, and then the three figures that have been released so far. And I don't think we know who the fourth figure is. And I'm not sure if that silhouette is supposed to be a hint or not. And then if anyone needs the barcode at the bottom, again, this is a Target exclusive. And, so far this, Flashpoint collect to build Cyborg wave has been really easy to find in Target stores. I pre-ordered this one only because I really, just wanted to get a classic Flash for my Justice League shelf. I made a custom a while back that I wasn't terribly happy with. It was just kind of a placeholder until this guy came out. But yeah, that Flashpoint Aquaman and the Project Superman, I still see the Project Superman like sitting on shelves. So he's probably not going to be that hard to find. So hopefully anyone out there who wants him can find him. But yeah, let's get him out of the packaging and check this guy out. All right, everybody, we're back. And well, it's taken a turn because this action figure review is now going to become more of a action figure customizing video. Because I took the Flash figure out of the packaging, and after kind of messing around with him for just about a minute or two, I was, let's just say, not too thrilled. So before I even finished the review video, I had to get to work. So like always, we have a stand, which I may or may not be using. I'll have to figure that out. And then we've got our card with some nice comic book artwork. And then, of course, our bio of Barry Allen. So, as you can see, I've done a bit of work here on the figure. The first thing I did was swap out the head. In the packaging, it comes with the maskless head. And I had plans for that head as soon as the figure was revealed. The plan that I had for that head was this. So as soon as I saw the Flash figure and I saw that head sculpt, I said to myself, well, that head sculpt is going on my Aquaman figure, because I think this is a fantastic, classic looking Aquaman head sculpt. So if you watch my previous videos about my customized Aquaman figure, this is the McFarlane DC Multiverse Aquaman. And then I put the head from a NECA Flash Gordon figure, but I had to do some dremeling and a little tiny bit of paint to get the complexion to match. And well, I didn't really have to do any of that work. So that was a kind of sort of waste of my time, but it's all right. I had a decent looking Aquaman for a good period of time on my shelf, but this is definitely, to me, far superior. You know, I did get a little bit of a longer neck peg, and the skin tones match perfectly, and this just even looks a lot better to me. So definitely will not be using the you know, maskless head sculpt on the Flash figure. This is now my classic looking, you could kind of say superpowers inspired Aquaman, although obviously he doesn't have the black trunks, but it's fine. It looks like a nice you know, Silver Age Aquaman. So that was the first thing, had to do the head swaps. So that was that. Then the next thing that really bugs me about the figure is that he came with one fist and one open trigger finger hand. And I thought to myself, why would you not give us either two fists or some kind of open palm hand or running pose hand or something? Why would you give us a Flash figure with literally a trigger finger hand? Obviously meant to hold a gun, which we don't even get guns in this line at all. So it just doesn't make any sense to me at all. Like, why a trigger finger? First of all, we don't even get guns at all because it's not allowed. And the Flash would never ever have a gun. It's weird. So what I did was, because I would not be able to sleep at night having a Flash figure with a trigger finger hand, I went through my fodder box, my box of parts, and I did find a Marvel Legends 2 red hands that were fists, where the red pretty much matched the red on this figure. Unfortunately, this figure had hand pegs that were those weird kind of half and half pegs, to where if you take the hand off, you're left with another peg inside the wrist. They're very weird pegs. I don't know why McFarlane Toys uses them. Maybe it's because they're cheaper. I'm not sure. But I had to heat up the peg, pull it out with a pair of pliers, and then I had to shorten the Marvel Legends peg just a little tiny bit. I probably took off like maybe 2 millimeters. And now I have got two fists. The reds match good enough. They still articulate, but now I've got a Flash figure with two fists, and that's how he should look, because he runs. That's what the Flash does. He runs. The other thing that kind of sort of bothered me, but not a lot, is he did not come with power effect pieces, which we almost always get with a Flash figure. So I don't know if it's because he came with you know, the you know, collect to build parts for the Cyborg, you know, which I'm not building that Cyborg, so I really don't need those parts. I just wanted a classic looking Flash figure. So I had these parts from other figures. I'm not sure which Flash figures these came with, honestly. But again, they were laying in my, my DC bin. So I put these power effects on him, which I think look pretty good. Although now I'm not sure. I may put this one on his arm and that one on his leg, because maybe it'll look better with the bigger one on the leg and smaller one on the arm. I don't know. We'll see. And then, this is not a huge deal, but like those kind of metal pegs in his feet, they really, really stand out against the yellow. You have like silverish black on yellow. And I mean, I might put some paint on there to cover it up, but then, who knows if my yellow paint will match the feet. I mean, it's not that bad, but it's just so noticeable because it's, on yellow. But another thing that really bugs me is the butterfly joints on the shoulders. Let me see if I can get in here so you can actually see. Like they really, I don't know exactly what's going on here, but they make like these gaps. Like if you try to put them in a running pose, like they don't really fill the gap all the way. I don't know if they're not put in right, but they're like, and this one especially is like really like loose and wobbly. So like you have to kind of like stick them in there a little farther to get them to like sit in there right. So I don't know. It just seems like at this point, like at this stage of the game, they should have this down. Honestly, the biggest issue for me is the hands. I'm really, really glad they included the two head sculpts. I think that was absolutely moving in the right direction, because they really, for certain characters, the head sculpts, it's nice to have two. You can pose them in different ways. Marvel Legends has been doing that for years. Almost any toy line, the Power Rangers, G.I. Joe, not so much, because not a lot of them have different, head sculpts or, masks, no masks, whatever. But, they give us helmets, they give us hats, they give us like multiple looks. And we just don't get that in the DC Multiverse line. And it would be nice. It would be nice to have multiple looks. Now, for me, I'm very, very happy because it allowed me to customize my Aquaman figure and make him look basically exactly how I want my Aquaman to look. So as far as comparisons go, we're going to have Barry and Wally. If he'll stay on his stand, I cannot get him to stay in a good pose. That's why I have him on a stand. You guys know I don't like to use figure stands, but I have to with these guys. Here's Impulse. Now Impulse I really have in a wacky stance, so of course he needs a figure stand. So there's Impulse. And then put Jay Garrick over here. If he'll fit in the view of the camera. There he goes. So yeah, I mean, they definitely look really cool together. So the Barry Allen Flash does seem to be staying in a pretty decent pose without a figure stand. Again, the Wally West figure, I mean, I could not get him to stand in a running pose the way I have the Barry Allen figure. I just could not get him to stay. Like, I don't know, it's something about his feet or his ankles. He will not stay. So I had to use the figure stand. For Impulse, I really wanted him in a more dynamic pose, like how I have him. So, that obviously he needs a figure stand. Any figure would need a stand being in this position. And then for Jay, I just figured, he looks cool like that. So yeah, I probably won't use a figure stand as long as Barry continues to cooperate. And we'll see. But I am waiting on the Hush Superman, which I don't know how the head sculpt's gonna look, but hopefully at least the Hush Superman will look a little bit more proportional to the other figures, especially Nightfall Batman that's coming out as well. So once I get the Nightfall Batman and the Hush Superman, I think I will be very close to my more classic looking Justice League. I do tend to put Kyle Rayner in there instead of Hal Jordan, so that is what it is. And then of course we are still waiting for that classic comic book version of Wonder Woman. Whether we ever get her, who knows? So let me get the Flash family out of the way here. I just want to do one more comparison, and I will try not to go on too much of a rant here, but I will still say that what I think is the superior DC toy line is DC Universe Classics. So here is the Flash figure from DC Universe Classics. And, I will say, every day of the week that DC Universe Classics is, it's got to be my favorite toy line of all time. Now, of course, the vintage Superpowers figures, the vintage Ninja Turtle figures, they're very, very nostalgic for me. But in terms of just, how they look and how they feel and how they work, the DC Classics line for me, it's just, we got so many figures, we got so many classic looking figures, we got so many obscure characters. It lasted for so long, and I just love that toy line. If you watch my other videos, if you watch my toy room tours, you will know that I have a lot of those figures, and just I love those figures. And I know a lot of people have their opinions about that toy line, but for me, it will always be the best DC toy line and one of the best toy lines of all time. For the time, it was, I feel, the best articulated, the best sculpted, the best painted toy line up until that point. Now, of course, NECA, Super 7, they have some more bells and whistles, so to speak. But the current DC toy line from McFarlane, it definitely has some issues. And, definitely a lot of hits, a lot of misses. And I just feel like the, DC Universe Classics had way more hits than they had misses. So that's my 2 cents. Like I said, don't want to get off on too much of a rant or anything, but I am happy to finally have a super classic looking Flash figure. But I still say DC Universe Classics wins hands down. But hey, what can you do? Let me know your thoughts on this figure. And hey, if you disagree with me, if you like the DC Multiverse from McFarlane better, that is totally fine. You're allowed to feel that way. So thanks very much for watching and have a good one.